welcome to Comic-Con at Home Day 3. My name is Beth Hiley here for BoardGameGeek, and I'm sitting down with Lance Meister from Gray Fox Games, doing a little party dance over in his game room.
Yeah, here in Minnesota, I'm like the only person that, for Gray Fox Games, I'm not in St. Louis, Missouri, so I guess I got that going for me. But I'm up here in Minnesota. It's a nice, hot, humid day. What's the weather like for you, Beth? And it's good to see you. I haven't seen you forever, Beth.
I know, right? Which I'm actually not terribly far away from you. I'm filming here from Chicago. The BGG team is spread out over 4 different time zones while we are doing this coverage for Comic-Con, so that's exciting. But yeah, I'm about the same weather as you because we're not too far apart.
Yeah, we're all in that weird, like, funnel that goes right down the center. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather.
Right, we're here to talk about games. In fact, a game that's so new that we actually don't have a physical game to show you. We have a digital one to show you.
Yep, I'm going to be showing off Arcana Rising. If you've been under a rock and you haven't seen the million Facebook ads and things like that we've pushed out for this, this is a game that is launching on Kickstarter on August 4th. This is a game of battling mages. It is a game with 2 main core mechanisms, that is card drafting and engine building. So each time, and we're going to show you how to play. I think we even got Derek and Scott to even play along with us a little bit. If you want to know more about this, you can go to grayfoxgames.com/Arcana Rising. You can watch our trailer for our upcoming Kickstarter page, and you can also sign up there to be notified when we do launch. So you can go ahead and back it on day 1. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen. This is make sure I don't screw this up here. And we're going to launch into the game. And I'm just going to kind of teach Scott. There's Aldi over there, and I don't know if you can hear me or not. I hope you can. And we have Derek here as Wigsby, and then that's me.
I am here. Yep, that's me.
Okay, so I do also want to say that these rules have been uploaded to BoardGameGeek.com, so you can definitely check them out there under Arcana Rising the game. And also, if you have Tabletop Simulator, you can go into the workshop and you can download this setup and you can play the game anytime, right now, if you want to check it out and make sure it's a game that you want to play and have for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the setup button, and I'm just going to kind of walk through the game real briefly. When I hit the setup button, what's going to do is each person's going to be dealt 6 cards. These are going to be 6 age 1, and then like you're going to have an age 1, then you have an age 2, and have age 3. What people are going to decide is they're going to choose one of their cards, and they're either going to place it down in front of them in their tableau, which is these little boards here, and these represent charm magic, herbology magic, blood magic, potion magic, and alchemy magic. Once you've placed cards, let's say I wanted to place this card. I'm not really, and I wanted to play it. I'm going to zoom in on my card a little bit too so people can see it. If I decided I wanted to place this card, this is an alchemy card. You can tell by both the color and also the icon that is up here. I'm going to place this, and this one later on, when I run my engine, if I had 3 blood magic, I could turn this into 2 alchemy. This is a powerful card because alchemy, as you can see here at the end of the game, for every alchemy cube that you have on this part, you're going to earn a point for every alchemy cube you have, because it obviously is gold, and that's good. Potions, herbology, and charms all earn you 1 point for every 3 cubes you have, whereas blood magic, which is a very quick and dirty and easy way to get lots of cubes, is worth a -1 point for every 1 that you have. So having this card, if I wanted to go with a blood magic heavy game, this would be a good card for me to have, because I could then convert that blood into gold for myself. Now up here in the top of the card, and every card will have this, if there's dashes up here, that means it doesn't cost anything to play. In this case, it's telling me I need to spend 1 potion magic to play it, or I can pick any 3 cubes at all to play this card. So if I want to play it, I can just go ahead and take this potion magic. I can place that in the pile over there, and I can go ahead and do that. Now, I don't know if my compatriots have picked a card. They don't really have to go through the whole process, but I do want to point, before we hit next turn, I want to point out this section of the board. Now, these 10 tokens here represent, and they're all in this bag here, and they're automatically shuffled and put out with this tabletop simulator. This will be in the physical game. This will actually be like a bag that you'll shake up, and you'll take the tokens out one by one. What this does is that if you don't decide to place a card in your tableau, and instead you just place it down like so, over here to the left, you discard the card. That means you get to run your spell engine, which means you're going to start from the left and you're going to work your way right. Now, the only problem is that like depending upon the number of cards in your hand when you use it, it's the different phases of the moon. So in the first phase, if you were running this, you would only get to run your alchemy and your herbology of those two. So then the next round would be herbology and potions. Unfortunately, I'm kind of glad it did this. And if we had 4 cards in hand, we ran our engine. What'll happen is that you'd actually run charms twice. So you'd run through your charms engine once and run through your charms engine again. If you have more than one card, I'm going to kind of cheat here. If you have more than one card on something, you run it from the top card down. But as you can see, you're only going to be covering up like that, so you'll actually be able to see what each card does that's here. Also, when the game is published, you'll actually be tucking these cards underneath and building down, but this is the way that we just have to do it because of the way Tabletop Simulator works. So that works. Also, it should be mentioned that the board itself, these 5 spots on the board are all cards. So like if I ran an engine that ran herbology and potions, I would still get to run and gain 1 herbology and 1 potion cube if I ran those. So you get that. Also, there are some cubes that are going to get some cards that are actually going to run and just give you victory points because of certain things that they do. Like they'll say if you have like charms cards, we'll say if you have a herbology card, for example, gain 1 victory point. Then you'll just add those victory points up as you play. In this case, we just have these cool little counters here on Tabletop Simulator. But actually, if you are if you back for the like Kickstarter version of this game, you're going to get these really cool abacuses that will actually you'll have a little abacus scorecard that kind of fit with the theme. Also,
cool.
And I'm just talking a lot, so I'm waiting for somebody to interrupt me, but also one of the things is that each one of these types of magic actually has its own kind of distinct flair and flavor as well. Charms magic relies a lot on what other magics have, kind of representing the fact that if you are a charms heavy mage, you are charming other mages to do your bidding. Like you are like through like whatever charm person spells. If you want to go back to D&D or things like that, you're actually getting people, you're swaying them under your control. Herbology actually works very well. Like if you'll place things down, and as herbology cards will just continue to grow in power as the game progresses, and they'll be able to give you more and more. Blood magic, as I said, is cursed magic. It is something that as you get more and more of it, it's very easy to get blood. It's very easy to collect lots and lots of blood cubes. But the problem is that the more you have, the more negative your points are going to be. Potions are something where for a little bit of investment, a little bit like if you're basically stoppering, or like taking a potion, you're infusing a bunch of magic and putting a stopper on, and later on you're able to open up that potion and do and create more power because it's like been staying in the bottle and you're building it up in that bottle and then using it at a later time. And finally, obviously, alchemy is worth the most. And so like you kind of want to create an engine that you kind of cipher down into alchemy, because for each one of those cubes you have, you're going to get a point for each one. So
Lance, I got a quick question for you.
Go ahead, Beth. Now that I've talked your ear off.
That center board, is it randomized? Sort of what 2 flavors of magic are going to trigger in round 6 and round 5 and round 4?
Yep, it'll be different for each round. So a lot of times what will happen is that you will set up you'll have something like, let's say it's the second round for this particular one, and maybe I have a really, really good potions engine going on. And so when it comes time for the potions, but I get a really good card in my hand that I really want to use, and I have to decide, am I going to spend my card to and put a card face down over here to run my engine because I really want to run a really good potions engine that I have going on, or am I going to use that card and maybe hopefully wait until this one, maybe it doesn't work as best, but I'm going to do that. So a lot of things are going to be like waiting to see how these tokens come out and how the timing works and how that works. Now I did actually forgot one thing. So when you get down to 1 card in your hand, more or less likely most people are going to run their engine at the very end, and you can see that there are each of the symbols that are over here. Now remember, when you do run your engine, you're always running it left to right. So in this case with potions and blood, you are going to run blood and then potions. You have to follow that order. However, in this one, you're actually going to run every single part of your engine with one special change. So in this case, you would run charms and then herbology and blood, then potions and alchemy. However, you are only going to get to use when the last card gets played. If you do use it for placing a face down or an engine, you only play the most recently played card in that tableau. So for example, I'm just placing these out so you can kind of see what this looks like. So like, let's say this was my engine, and I placed the card face down. I ran that final one. In this case, I would only run this card, and then I would only run that card, and I would run the blood right here because this is considered a card, then this potion, and then only this alchemy. So yes, you do get to run your entire engine if you discard a card at the very end. However, you do not get to run the complete engine each time. And one of the things I like about that is that a lot of engine building games, this is one of the things I really like. So we all can kind of go back and think of like Race for the Galaxy, which was like, obviously like most likely an inspiration for Tim Armstrong, the guy who designed this game. Like this was a game that was a game that used the cards and created a tableau. There was an engine building game, and a lot of the complaints about that was the fact that like once your engine really started working really well in Race for the Galaxy, the game was over. And people are like, oh, I just want to run. But that's the beauty of most engine building games is like, once you get to the point where your engine's going really well, like at that point, you're just kind of just churning it, and you're just gaining points just to gain points. And everybody's engine is just, maybe you can make it a little bit more efficient. But for the most part, you're doing as well as you're going to do with that particular engine. This game, like Race for the Galaxy, in my opinion, it ends right when it should be. You can play this with up to 6 players. When you play with 6 players, you're going to see all the cards, like basically because there's 36 cards in each one of these decks. But if you play with less, there are certain cards that aren't just going to get played. Then you have situations like right when you're like right there at the end of that third round, you are like you've got something working well. You've got those points. You're funneling things into alchemy, but then the game's over, and like it's over in about 30 to 40 minutes, even with 6 players. So it kind of scratches that really good engine building feel to it, but it doesn't overstay its welcome on the table, which is one of the things I really like about this. And I love the art as well, but that's goes without saying.
So
Which
I would need.
I'll be excited
so
when
if I
we can
wanted to
get
play
a
a
physical
card from
copy.
my hand. So if I wanted to play a
So
card
pick a card.
from my
Let's
hand,
pick a card. Show me what card you want to play.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay, so
drop
that's a
this
blood
blood
magic
card right here. Yeah. So I'd
just
put
place
it
it
in my
down there.
blood column, right? Yeah.
And then look up here, like it says right here, that it either costs 1 potion cube to play it, or you can play any 3 cubes whatsoever.
Right.
And
Well,
this is actually
I'll
a pretty
drop the
cool card.
potion
I'm
cube
glad
for
you pulled this one out, Derek. Because if you notice this one, when you run your engine, it actually will say, add a cube to this card. So like if you ran your engine, what you would end up doing is you'd take a cube. Oh, I grabbed too many. But you're going to take a cube and you'd add a cube to the card. That's what it would do. But then it tells you, add a cube to this card and then gain 1 blood per cube on this card. And so you can see if you keep running this engine, you're going to get more and more blood. Remember what I said? Blood is a very easy, like you're going to get more and more blood every time, as I buried one of your cubes. You're going to get more and more blood as the game. And then that might be really good for you because maybe you have an alchemy card over here that will, like this one I had right here. So like if you had this blood card here and you've just got this thing and it's churning out blood magic for you, and like you keep placing more and more blood cubes, you're looking for a way to get this card going because you can take these 3, like every time you run that alchemy card, you'll be taking these 3 blood, you'll be getting rid of those negative points. And then you'd actually get to turn those 3 blood into 2. So you're taking -3 points and you're turning into 2 points.
Like
so you have like actually like a 5-point turnaround. But the trick is that you got to make sure that either A, this is your top card, so when you run it on this point right here, all of it gets to work, or like you're timing it well with these different phases of the moon, and that's where you just got to be on your toes and make sure that you're optimizing your strategy. Now there are other kind of cards. And Aldi, did you get a artifact card in your hand by any chance?
Yeah, I think Scott had a question.
Yeah,
Hello?
Go ahead. What's your question, Scott?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Hello. Oh, okay. I said like 5 things, so it didn't seem like anybody heard me. By the way,
you weren't there for a while, but you're here now.
Tip in Tabletop Simulator, you hold down the Alt key, Lance. It'll do a zoom automatically. You don't have to like zoom in.
I like zooming in and out. I know that's how it works.
Yeah, but
like
it's
zooming in and out.
painful. Okay, cool. Yeah, I have like 3 artifact cards.
Okay, well, yeah. So actually, I just drew some out of the second level here, but I mean, like, go ahead and put your artifact cards on the table so I can see it. So artifact cards are exactly this. So like there are certain cards that you'll play that will gain you victory points if you have the most cards. Like this one says, if you have the most cards under blood. So like you will have things where you can score points at the end of the game. And so this is a game where like a lot of times you'll be forced to you'll run your engine, but you have to pay attention to like who you're, because it's a card drafting game. You have to pay attention to who you're turning your cards over. So like let's say Scott, you were running a really good like blood engine or something like that, and I had a really good blood card. But that like this one, like where gain 2 blood and 1 victory point, and you want to be able to run that over and over, and because you could turn that blood into. So, but I'm not running blood. So when it came time to run my engine, that would be like a perfect card for me to take and place into my discard, because then I would remove it. I know people like calling that hate drafting. I'm not a big fan of that, but I mean, I think it's tactical drafting. So this is an instant card. I wanted to show one of these as well. So these are just basically, instead of placing a card into your tableau, it is an action that you get to take. Notice this one costs 1 charm or 3 of any, and then add 1 spell card from your right neighbor's discard to your tableau. So you do have interaction in this game where you are going to be able to like dig into people's discard piles and what have you. And the big thing is that you're never actually like getting rid of any cards. If you ever have a card, you're always placing in your discard, because there are effects in the deck that are going to depend upon how many cards you have in your discard pile. So you can kind of mess with people. So even if like if Scott, if maybe I buried that blood card, if you had that card, you could say, well, I think I knew that card was out there because I saw it and it got buried. I'm pretty sure you have it. You cast this, you could dig into my discard, and you could take that and add it to your tableau. So there is player interaction.
I don't get to know what's in your discard beforehand.
What was that, Scott?
So do I get to see what goes in your discard or no?
Well, no, because they're face
or do you
down.
just put it...
But like in a case like this with 3 players, like you might have like, because you're going to see the cards again, right? In a 6-player game, like it's like playing 7 Wonders with 7 people. You're never going to see the cards back in your hand. But in this case, like if you play 6 players, you're never going to see the cards back. But in this case, a 3-player game, maybe in the first choice you have to pick between 2 cards, and there's one that was kind of good and one was better. So you're just kind of hoping that kind of good card makes it back to you. And so you might play that because you think that kind of good card might be in
I didn't know that we were drafting. I missed that part.
Yeah. You take these 6 cards.
Well, that's important.
Pass them to the left. Card drafting and engine building, 2 things I love. If there was somehow worker placement in here, it might be the greatest game of all time.
Okay. This is a golden.
Now,
What?
Lance, you had mentioned the artwork, which obviously is replicated in miniature here in Tabletop Simulator. But do you happen to know the artist name off the top of your head?
It is the same. I can't remember, but it's the same person who does Champions, the Champions of Midgard for us, and Reavers for that matter. So, and I wanted to show you like something like this. Like this is one of the things I like about the artwork. So, like each age has its own different. So this is an age 1 alchemy card, and so it just kind of shows this like druidess like finding this like this strange like plant in the woods, and now you can see like she's cultivating in age 2. And then we get to age 3, like she's like achieved power, and now she has like her woodland family, like because she's grown, and like there's those kinds of little Easter eggs that are in this. If I can find like an age 1 alchemy, you'll notice that that age 2 alchemy. I should say. Apologize. If I can find one. Oh yeah,
the name is Jose David Lanza Cibrian.
What?
Artist name is Jose David Lanza Cibrian and Victor Perez Corbella.
There you go. Easy for you to say. No, so like you'll notice that this alchemical, like you'll notice that plant is like the same as the plant that they got there. And so, and also like one of the more sinister things, if I can find an age 1 blood magic card. So here's our sorceress, like and she's cutting her palm to create magic. Then we go here and you see that there's some despicable thing happening to an outsider. And then if you actually get to age 3, if I can push track one down, like each one of these like tells a little story as it goes. And like I'm talking now, trying to get to this point. Nope. It'll be like the last card. There's like no blood magic cards in age 3. Oh, here we go. So now you can see like all the mages, like because the blood magic is dangerous and can hurt you, those mages that were in the circle, you can see they've been destroyed. Now there's like a demon there, but so
You're
like
getting-
I've enjoyed like the art direction of this because of those little Easter eggs and things like that are included.
You're getting some compliments in the chat about the cool artistic progression. So it's good attention to detail.
And that
there.
is by design. And also one of the cool things, if you care or not, if you do go to our grayfoxgames.com/Arcana Rising to be notified, you will also then be on our email list, and you'll be able to get some like cool little fiction that has been written about the Arcana Rising world, written by yours truly. Whether or not that's a selling point or not, I guess you can decide. But
well, in the last couple
I've been-
minutes we have here left, let's talk about obviously believe you have a Kickstarter for this coming up soon.
August 4th.
If you have, and do you have a general idea on a timeline for delivery?
Well, this one, I mean, like everything's pretty much done except for there's just a little bit of art, like graphic artists. Our in-house artist actually just suffered a shoulder injury, so I mean that's going to put us, but thankfully the artwork and the layout has been done for this prior to that happening. So we're actually pretty pleased about that. I mean, we're not pleased that Tyler got hurt, Tyler Myatt. We're not pleased that he is injured. But we are pleased that he did get this finalized before that happened. So the idea here will be, since it is a relatively easy game to manufacture, we always you're doing the Scotty, you always say 6 months later or something like that. But run the Kickstarter, then it's always like 6 to 7 months, right? So we're looking. Early 2021, and if it's one of those things where, like, because it is mostly just cards and a few player boards and things like that, maybe even it could be an early December gift. But don't hold me to that. You never know with the slow boat from China.
Well, anything else that you wanted to share about the development of this game? We've got about 2 minutes left. No,
I mean, I would like to say that if you go to Gen Con online right now, there are multiple you can sign up to play this, and those games themselves, Tim Armstrong, the designer, will be hosting some of those. I'll be hosting some of those, and I do believe if like Chris Cluey, who is working on a game for us right now, who's a big fan of this game. You might know him as an author, and I guess he did play football at some point. But Chris Cluey is going to be playing well because he's really enjoying this game, and I've beaten him the last 2 times we played, so he's actually feeling pretty bad about that. So he's hyper competitive. But if you know Chris, he's a really super cool guy, and like he's helped a little bit with like development and working on this and smoothing out some of the fine edges. So I mean, go to Gen Con online and sign up for a session.
Well, fantastic. Well, Lance, as always, it's a pleasure to watch you give a masterclass of how to demo a game, particularly even in Tabletop Simulator, which is actually a first for us too, to demo something digital in a virtual convention. I believe we've gone double digital at this point.
No, and Beth, like I said, it's fabulous to see you again. So hopefully it'll be in person sooner than later.
With big hugs, yes.